The review of the F-35 acquisition project continues. It is one that is going to take the time it's going to take. We're going to get this right. This is a major acquisition for Canada.
Canada's F-35 plan was supposed to make its Air Force stronger, but now the dream is stuck. By April 2026, Canada expected big progress, but instead, the hangars are still empty, the pilots are still waiting, and a huge gap is opening in North America's air defense. And now the big question is this: is Canada waiting for a jet it may never fully control? The F-35 is powerful, but its software and secret systems are controlled by America. That means Canada may buy the jet, fly the jet, and pay for the jet, but still not fully own the technology inside it. This is where Sweden's Saab Gripen becomes important. Gripen is cheaper, flexible, easier to operate, and gives more control to the country that buys it. For Canada, it may not be just a backup anymore. It could become the way to protect its skies without depending too much on American-locked technology. So this is not only a story about delayed fighter jets. This is a story about control, freedom, and Canada's future air power. Could the F-35 delay become the moment Canada turns to Sweden's Gripen and finally takes back control of its own Air Force?
Canada is now facing a dangerous capability gap. And this is not just a small delay, it is a national security warning. The updated 2026 delivery schedule shows that Canada's first fully ready F-35 squadrons may not reach full strength until the end of this decade. That means for years, Canada could be stuck between an old fighter fleet that is getting tired and a new fighter fleet that is still not ready. The CF-18 jets have protected Canadian skies for decades, but their time is running out fast. Every year, maintenance becomes harder, costs go higher, and the pressure on pilots and crews becomes heavier. At the same time, Canada still has major NORAD responsibilities with the United States, especially in the Arctic, where Russian and Chinese activity is becoming more serious. So the big question is this: what happens if Canada's old jets retire before the new jets are fully ready? This is where the crisis begins. A wait-and-see strategy may sound safe on paper, but in real defense planning, waiting can create a dangerous empty space. Canada cannot afford a moment where it has fewer aircraft, fewer patrols, and less control over its own airspace. Sovereign air policing is not something a country can pause. If the skies need protection today, a jet arriving years later cannot solve that problem. That is why Canada may need an immediate secondary solution, a fighter that can enter service faster, support NORAD duties, protect northern airspace, and give Canada breathing room until the F-35 fleet is fully ready. Because in modern air defense, the most dangerous enemy is not always the aircraft coming toward your border. Sometimes it is the gap in your own defense plan.
The real problem is not only the F-35's delivery delay. The deeper problem is control. Canada may buy the jet, fly the jet, and maintain the jet, but the most important part of the aircraft, its brain, remains locked inside a black box. Lockheed Martin's mission data files decide how the F-35 reads threats, understands enemy radars, and reacts in combat. But these files are not fully controlled by Canada. That means when Canadian pilots face a unique mission in the Arctic, or when a new threat appears near NORAD airspace, Canada cannot simply tell its own engineers, "Fix this now." Instead, it has to move through American-controlled software channels, approval systems, and logistics loops. And in a real crisis, that delay can become dangerous. The F-35 is an incredible machine, but its restrictive software architecture raises a hard question. Can Canada truly defend itself independently if it cannot rapidly change the digital systems inside its own fighter jets? For the Royal Canadian Air Force, this creates frustration because modern warfare moves fast. Radar signals change, electronic warfare changes, enemy tactics change.
But if Canada's engineers cannot quickly update mission data, adjust software, or customize the aircraft for Canadian priorities, then the country is not fully in control of its own air power. This is the black box bottleneck. Canada gets world-class stealth, but at the cost of digital freedom. And in the Arctic, where seconds matter and distance is brutal, relying on someone else's software pipeline may be the most dangerous weakness of all.
This is where the Saab Gripen E suddenly becomes more than just a backup plan. It becomes Canada's possible escape route from a dangerous decade-long air power gap. While the F-35 demands expensive bases, long logistics chains, and heavy maintenance support, the Gripen was built for a different kind of war: fast response, rough conditions, and survival under pressure. It can operate from normal runways, smaller airfields, and even prepared road bases, which makes it extremely valuable for Canada's huge northern territory. But the real advantage is not only where it can fly from, the real advantage is control. Gripen E is designed around flexible software and human-machine collaboration, meaning the pilot, sensors, weapons, and mission systems work together like one smart fighting network. For Canada, this could mean more freedom to connect its own sensors, weapons, and defense priorities without waiting for endless outside approvals. That matters because in a fast-moving Arctic crisis, Canada cannot afford to send every problem through a foreign permission system. It needs a fighter that can adapt quickly, cost less to operate, and keep flying even when infrastructure is limited. The Gripen may not have the same stealth image as the F-35, but it offers something Canada urgently needs right now: speed, flexibility, affordability, and sovereign control. And if the F-35 timeline keeps slipping, the Gripen E may no longer be just the second option. It could become the strategic bridge that keeps Canada's skies protected before the gap becomes impossible to close.
This is where the Gripen deal could become bigger than just buying fighter jets. For Canada, the real prize may be industrial sovereignty, the power to control, upgrade, and shape its own air combat technology. Imagine a backdoor deal where Saab gives Canadian aerospace firms deep access to source code, mission systems, and software tools. Suddenly, Canada is not just waiting for foreign updates. Canadian engineers could help build the digital brain of the aircraft, integrate local sensors, connect Canadian weapons, and create a stronger domestic defense industry. This would change everything. Instead of being only a customer inside a global program, Canada could become a real partner in software-defined warfare. And a mixed fleet strategy would make that even more powerful. If Canada operates both F-35s and Gripens, it creates competition. No single company controls the whole future of Canadian air power. Costs become harder to dictate. Upgrade timelines become more flexible. Political pressure becomes weaker. The monopoly breaks. And in modern warfare, that matters, because the next battle will not be won only by the jet with the sharpest shape or the biggest brand name. It will be won by the nation that controls the software, the data, and the upgrade path. For Canada, the Gripen could open a door that the black box system keeps closed, the door from dependency to true defense independence.
By the 2030s, Canada's future Air Force may not be built around one fighter only. It may need a two-tiered fleet: F-35s for deep stealth missions and Gripens for fast northern defense. The F-35 could be used for the most dangerous missions, where stealth, intelligence gathering, and first strike power matter most. But the Gripen could handle the daily pressure of Arctic sovereignty: quick reaction alerts, border patrols, NORAD support, dispersed operations, and emergency deployments from smaller airfields. This mix would give Canada both power and flexibility. And the big question is, can Swedish technology fit into a NATO standard defense network? The answer is yes. Through advanced data link translation, mission system integration, and shared NATO communication standards, Gripen-style platforms can connect into wider allied operations without forcing Canada to depend on only one supplier. That means Canada could protect its own skies while still fighting as part of the NATO team. But the real point is bigger than technology. In a contested Arctic, where Russian patrols, long distances, harsh weather, and infrastructure gaps create constant pressure, relying on one aircraft type may become too risky. Diversifying the Air Force is no longer just a political debate or a procurement choice. It is a survival move. Because when the Arctic becomes the front line of future competition, Canada cannot defend the world's second-largest territory with a single fragile plan. It needs stealth for the first night of war, endurance for every day after, and fighters that can keep flying when the pressure gets real. Thanks for watching.